Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Legends of Sport podcast presented by Fujifilm. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. On today's episode, our guest, Vlade Divac, and I take a final look back at the last Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement festivities, specifically to some legendary inductees who were associated with the Los Angeles Lakers: Michael Cooper, Jerry West, and legendary superfan Jack Nicholson. Vlade has some great memories and stories for each, so big thanks to Vlade for stopping by. Vlade was an integral member of the first invasion of European players into the NBA in the late 1980s and 90s. He played 16 seasons in the NBA, was a two-time NBA All-Star, a FIBA World Champion, and an Olympic silver medalist in 1996. Vlade himself was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2019. I always loved being around Vlade as a player, then when he moved into the front office in Sacramento. One of the friendliest and most approachable guys I had the pleasure to get to know on and off the court. Enjoy this conversation, folks, and as always, I'll see you on the backside. All right, well, here with my good friend, somebody I've known for a million years, Vlade Divac. It's good to see you, buddy. How you been?
I'm great. I'm so happy. You're one of the rare people that knows exactly to pronounce my name.
Vlade Divac.
Exactly.
You told me that when we first met.
I know, but it's been like 35 years.
Yeah, he said the C is not a C.
Exactly. No,
I remember that.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you, buddy. So listen, we're here this weekend. You're obviously a Hall of Famer. I know what it meant to you because we talked about it when you were enshrined in the Hall of Fame. What do you want to share about your buddy Michael Cooper going into the Hall of Fame this weekend?
Michael was my rookie year, somebody who helped me a lot to make that transition between European basketball and NBA. So I'm glad that he's going to be part of the Hall of Fame family, and well deserved. What I like about him, he wasn't flashy. He wasn't like a superstar, but everything that is dirty work, Michael will take care of it.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know how many years, defensive player of the year.
I think it was once defensive player of the year, but so many times he was on either the first or second team.
Yes.
And, skinny as a rail, but he wouldn't back down anybody,
Nope,
right?
no.
And Larry Bird himself said he was his biggest defensive nemesis, right?
Look, but what you see in the games, Michael would do the same thing in the practice. So,
Unbelievable.
Great career.
Yeah. Second person I want to talk about is Jerry West. So talk about your relationship with Jerry. What was the first time that you met? What was that like?
I met Jerry first time when I landed from my home, Yugoslavia, back then. I landed with my wife, Anna, to LAX, and he was the guy who was waiting for us.
I've heard that from so many people that Jerry would literally pick you up at the airport. That's crazy.
And that was our first contact, the first, even though I didn't speak English back then. A lot of people say, I don't speak English even today. But
Stop.
But 6 months later, when I pick it up, when I start making conversation with Jerry, we bond, and, he is part of my family. I'm part of his family. The guy who I'm so thankful what he did for me personally, but also for my family. Changed my life, bringing me from Europe.
Absolutely.
Back then, you didn't have too many European guys, so probably none. I was kind of first one who was drafted in the first round and came same year. And for me, he's a genius, visionary, that he saw where basketball is going, and now you have like 30% of the league is international.
That's got to make you feel like you actually were a trailblazer on that. I've talked to Pau Gasol, came after you, and Pau was part of maybe that second wave, but you were literally part of that first wave of the European invasion.
But again, Jerry's the guy who saw that. And gave me opportunity, and then what I like about Jerry, he was honest, he was a straight shooter, he was even though when I retired and became a GM for Sacramento Kings, he was the first guy I called, for advice, so he was great.
So you weren't mad at him for the whole thing with Kobe in '96, was Charlotte drafted getting Kobe's rights, and then they had to trade you.
Charlotte drafted because Jerry told them who to draft.
Exactly. But I remember you weren't too happy about that.
No.
You actually thought you were going to retire.
Yes.
Which would have screwed up the whole deal.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now Jerry is again a smart guy as he was.
Yeah.
He knew where I'm coming from, so we had a wonderful conversation, and he made me feel good about it.
Yeah.
He told me that he understands my emotions and everything. You know, why don't you go to Charlotte and spend there for a couple days, see if you like it or not. And then when I came back, obviously I trusted his guts, you know, and he told me back then that Kobe is going to be unbelievable. And I took the chance, and the rest is history.
But look what happened to your career. I won't even say it was a resurgence because it was a continuation. But you were in Charlotte. You had a great run there. Then you go to Sacramento with one of the greatest runs, really. Yes. The only problem you had to go up against the Lakers. But you guys were such a great team.
Yeah,
people forget, I think, that they don't remember how great you guys were.
No, we were with the Lakers. We were top two teams. Basically, you know, the Western Conference Finals that we play against each other was basically NBA Finals.
Yeah,
you know? It was a great competition. You know, we made each other better. You know, and that's what NBA basketball generally does.
Yeah.
You know, you push your opponents, you push your teammates. You know, and that's how you become a better player.
Yeah, exactly. Last thing I want to ask you about is a third person affiliated with the Lakers is being honored this weekend. Jack Nicholson is going into the Superfan exhibit. Any memories of Jack as a young player? Maybe the first time you saw Jack on the court?
A lot of memories.
Yeah.
Jack was truly a Laker fan forever.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, I grew up, you know, in Europe and Yugoslavia, watching a lot of movies, and then you start playing for the Lakers, and you see somebody who you know from the different movies sitting right next to you, you know, and cheering for you. My last memory, I don't know if you remember when Lakers called me to take that half-court shot for the charity.
I do remember that.
And I made it.
Yes.
Jack was the first one to
I
congratulate.
remember that happened.
Yes.
That was amazing.
So I'm so happy for Jack. You know, he deserved to be part of the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's so great you're here to share that. Good to see you, man.
Thank you, Andy. Always.
Always. Still got those gigantic hands. Love you, man.
Still can play.
Still can play. Well, big thanks to Vlade for stopping by to share his memories of playing with Michael Cooper, playing for Jerry West, and playing in front of Jack Nicholson. Thanks for tuning into this episode, folks, and for continuing to support the Legends of Sport podcast presented by Fujifilm. Please follow them on Instagram at FujifilmX_US. Again, that's at FujifilmX_US. Please tell all your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Legends of Sport, and our Instagram at Legends of Sport. My photography can be found on Instagram at ADB Photo Inc. Big thanks, as always, to our producer, Carlin Barker, and our editors, Sean Gosser and Addison Schau. Thanks again, everyone, for checking out this episode. We'll be back next week with another great guest on the Legends of Sport podcast, presented by Fujifilm.